Hello friends, it's SuNN here. Thanks for joining me for another paper pumpkin alternative video. This is the September 2016 Something Good to Eat kit. Inside comes the old olive ink spot, a really cool stamp set, the paper instructions and some extra bits and bobs, and these are 16 food safe tubes with cork stoppers. Now inside the package here we will find 3 yards of linen thread and the glue dots, plus 3 sheets of adhesive banners and 3 sheets of printed die cut labels, some with Halloween, some with fall, and then of course the instructions. So my alternative, what I'm going to be putting in these things, well, that has what they suggested, sort of like mints or Tic Tacs. I thought it would be nice for hot chocolate, for sequins for your crafty friends. This is my favorite loose tea. That'd be kind of neat. This could be funny, break in case of emergency. For your office desk, some paper clips, and then what I'm using mostly for mine are where I'm going to put fancy salt. So I thought I would make cards today and save my tubes for another day. So I have taken out the seasonal decorative masks. You will find them in the page 43 of the catalog. And they're kind of cool. I gotta say, they're only $8 in Canada. So I have a piece of Whisper White and a bit of a sponge, and I'm starting sort of to the center, slightly off center. I will be cutting this cardstock down. I am using the old olive ink pad, but I'm just using a bigger one just for ease today and for the video. And you can see I've sponged on some ink through that mask, and it very softly, and it left that impression. Okay, so I fussy cut some of the die cuts, and there is a pumpkin and a cauldron and a kitty cat. And I put the kitty cat on some dimensionals from a previous kit, and I stamped the greeting with archival black ink. So I cut it down, put it on a piece of black cardstock, and I will be adhering that to some old olive cardstock. So I wanted to keep these cards pretty simple because I have a little subscriber. Her name is McKenna, and she is 10 years old, and she doesn't have a big craft stash. So I am trying my best to rein it in and do a couple of techniques that you can do just with what you have in the kit. So you have an acrylic block in the kit, and you have green ink in the kit. So I'm using a spray here, but you can use any kind of a mister or a spray, and you want to get that kind of wet, not too wet, but that's a little wet, but you'll see what I do. I fix the problem. So I am using watercolor paper here. I got it from the art store. It's really cheap. It's Canson student grade, I don't know, 120 pound, and I'm working on the smooth side. So that's all I did. I pressed the acrylic block down, and I'm taking my little paper towel, and so I wanted that to dry. And you can just leave it taped to your board like that, or just, best you can. And I put a little bit more ink on my acrylic block, and then just with my paintbrush, I splattered on some paint. And now I'm taking off the tape, and you can see how I sort of ripped it up against itself. So that's an easy way. And then this is the archival black ink, and I am using a piercing mat, but you can use a couple of magazines to stamp on. I just wanted to get a good impression because the watercolor paper is a bit bumpy, and when you get water on paper, sometimes it can bow and warp. So I wanted to make sure I had a good impression. So I almost thought to leave those little flowers by themselves without the centerpiece in, but I went ahead and put some early espresso ink for the center of the flowers. I didn't mind it, actually. It was fine. I could have colored it in too with a marker. So just like I'm putting in the stems here for the flowers, I want them to be flowers, and I'm using my Project Life 0.5 art journaling pen, but you can use whatever, a Sharpie marker, a felt pen, whatever, as long as you might want to test it out on the watercolor paper before you apply it to your card. So a little bit of Winkostella. This is an add-on, and I use it in every one of the cards, so I pretty much feel that you need to get yourself some Winkostella. So pretty. It just adds sparkle. It's a lot of fun. It's a fun product. And my card is coming together here. And I did use Old Olive for the sentiment. Anyway, I put some fast fuse on the back of that watercolor piece, and Bob's your uncle, there's my card. Okay, so I have a piece of crushed curry cardstock and crushed curry ink, and I am random stamping that little flower around again, hoping to, at this point I don't know what I'm going to do with the card, and my little kitty is sitting to the left of me, so I'm trying my hardest to watch what I'm doing and also try not to get him in the frame. This is a piece of Whisper White. I've cut it at a diagonal, so it was 5.5 by 4.25, and I just cut it on a diagonal, and then I stamped the sunshine, or well, the flower, I guess, in crushed curry, and then I used the pumpkin pie as a cheerful hello, and just with my adhesive, I'm adhering the bottom of that card, of that piece of paper, card front really, to the card base, and then I'm going to use the self-adhesive banners and just match up, and it was luck that it was the perfect length. So I could have easily done 2 cards with this because I do have a little bit of that piece of white there that I could make another one. And then here comes the Winkostella, and I warned you before that the Winkostella was going to make an appearance here with all of these cards. I again tried to rein everything in to keep this sort of simple and what you had in your kit, which was a challenge for me, I have to say. But there's a look at the finished product. Okay, so once you pop out all the die cuts, you're left with this unique elongated hexagon. Taking that sponge again, and this is with my crushed curry ink, and I'm starting from pretty heavy around that middle part, and then letting it drift off. The video is not showing it justice, you can see in the pictures. Then I took one of those plain die cuts and I used the hello sentiment, and I had that popped up on some dimensionals that came in one of the previous kits, and this was some of the gold thread that was in previous kits as well. And then I just adhered everything together. You kind of see what I'm doing. I stamped out the pumpkin pie, and then this was crumb cake, I believe. And so right here I'm doing some fussy cutting. So it's just your scissors, and you'll notice that my scissors are pointed pretty much straight towards the top of the screen, and I am turning the paper. So that is how you fussy cut evenly. It takes a bit of practice, but it's fine. Okay, so I put a little mask on, and then I'm using the tip of my marker and I'm putting some flecks of paint, or sorry, ink. And I just adhere down that little sunflower, and out comes the Wink of Stella again. Because do you think I'm addicted to the Wink of Stella? I think so. Anyway, just because those flecks might be still wet, I put adhesive on the card base, and now I'm applying the card front to it. And that is card number 3. Okay, so card number 4 is me stamping on, these are Post-it notes. They're full sticky Post-it notes, but you can use just a regular Post-it note. Just make sure that you get the sticky stuff into your image. So I've stamped the image of the pumpkin, and I'm cutting it out twice just because I don't know how many pumpkins I'm going to need. But you want to cut slightly on the inside of the stamped image. So what this is going to do is going to create that first pumpkin that I've placed on this piece of paper. That is going to be the one closest to us. So I'm putting on my mask, and now I'm going to stamp one to the left and then one to the right. And I'm also using that really weird looking stamp. It's the shadow for the bottom of the pumpkin. This is called 2-step stamping. So you're adding some really neat details into that stamp. So I'm gonna pull the mask up, and then that first pumpkin that we stamped becomes the first one we see, and the other two look like it's behind it. So this is a piece of crushed curry cardstock to which I drenched it with Wink of Stella, and I let it dry, and then put a little bit of adhesive on the back, and then I used the self-adhesive banner and applied that as well, and stamped the sentiment, the hello one, in on the pumpkin die cut. I flipped it over, I trimmed off the excess, applied adhesive to the back of the card front to a piece of crushed curry. I wrapped 4 bits of the twine around, and so you know how you get that little kink in the linen thread? What I ended up doing was getting it a little moist and then wrapping it around a circular thing, and it got the kinks all out. So FYI, if that drives you crazy. So this is some fun foam, and I find it at the dollar store. It comes in larger sheets. I cut it down. It's in place of the dimensional adhesives, or those little pop dots, and I just adhered everything with some strong adhesive to a soft suede card base. Then just put some of the enamel dots, which are from the Brights collection. So there's going to be a link in the description bar below of all the extra products that I did use. And if you're needing something, just click on it and you'll go straight to the online store. Don't forget to add that Wink of Stella in your cart. Anyway, have yourself a great day and happy crafting. Bye.